Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to my card making series. This is my live card making series every Wednesday. And today we're going to be playing around with this concept I got from seeing this card. This card came from a card kit. This is a decoupage card kit, and we're going to play around with kind of adding on to this. So this is already done. It actually came with 2 of these cards in this kit. And I just love the way it opens. I mean, I've been kind of doing these interactive folding cards lately. I just think that they're so much fun. And then I got this card kit the other day, and it had this in there. And I thought, well, that's pretty cool. It reminded me a little bit of the first one that I made, which we did 2 weeks ago. It was a very similar concept to this card, but this only had 4 flaps in it. And this one has 5. And I thought, well, that's kind of fun. And look at all the different elements on there. And I thought, well, if I could do a card that mimics this, and I love the way that it cascaded on here too. I thought that was really cool. How could I recreate that? So that's what I'm going to teach you guys how to do today. And then with that, obviously you can also, this is called a decoupage kit, where you can take the elements, and this is just to show you one little piece. You can take these elements and you can pop up sections, and we're going to add some stuff to this card because I just think they're so cool. And you don't have to do it to every single element on the card. You could just hit and miss. I don't have to do all of the front page on this card. Maybe as I open it up, I just do this part, and I maybe don't do the opposite. So you can kind of mix and match. I thought, well, if this card has those elements, why couldn't I do that on the card that we're going to create together? So to make this card, because there's a lot of elements here, I already popped out a bunch of pieces. I'm going to move over here. You need 2 sheets, and I'm just using an 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock. I did make a template already, and so this is kind of where we're going, just to kind of give you guys an idea. This is the beginning of it, but it's not all glued together yet, so it doesn't have everything. And I will be putting the dimensions down below, so you guys can recreate this card at home, and that way, and I'll give the dimensions of the card itself and also dimensions of the mat. And in this card, the mat is the purple. And so it just, I don't know, it looks kind of cool. So I have them all written down right here. This is my little guidelines. Again, because I just kind of took that card and then morphed it and made it my own. So the first thing you're going to do is you need 2 sheets of paper for this card. And you're going to cut them to be an 8.5 by 11. So sorry, 5.5 by 11. It's 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. So cut it at the 5.5 by 11 marker. And that gives you that A2 size cards. That was the other thing I wanted to do, is I loved the look of this card, but my card swaps, and heads up, if you're interested in my card swaps, that will be down below the information for you to join that. We're just finishing 1 round of card swaps. And good morning to everybody who has jumped on. Hi. And so what we have here is it's an 8.5 11 sheet of paper, and we need 2 of those. So here is the second one. Here's the second 5.5. And don't throw these little guys away. So if you are kind of noticing the design that I made, I'm adding a white strip. I wanted to keep this very clean and simple because there's a lot going on as you're opening up the card. I didn't want the card to be super fancy. So, I always keep these little strips off to the side, and I ended up cutting off and making little banners that went on each of the layers. So I'm just going to kind of put that off to the side right now. And we'll put this down for right now. Let's put that on the floor. Good morning, everybody, for those just got on. All right, so just as a heads up for those that just got on, because I realized we are making this fold out card. It was the inspiration behind what I was doing. It's this cool fold out card that we have here, and we're making it into our own for an A2 size. So I have my little handy dandy little scoring tool, but you don't need to use a scoring tool for this. If you just, there's 2 ways to do this. One, you can come in and score, and you're going to score at the 4 1/4. I'm going to take my scoring tool and score it. I'm going to show you how to do it once with the scoring tool. So here's 4 1/4. And I totally could figure out how to do the math on this, but I don't want to. So I'm just going to push this over here, and we're going to do the other one at 4 1/4. So that way I don't have to reverse math and figure out what this distance is. But for those of you that do want to know, that distance is, I got to line this up. I didn't do that prior to this. So is that? That would be 2 1/2. So there you go. All right. So now we got to make a second one just like that. So if you didn't have a scoring tool, what could you do? I got to put this on correctly. There we go. I like it when they go in there. Somebody was saying that you could take your paper trimmer, and I said we need to score at 4 1/4, right? So you just need a bone folder, or I was even using my fingernail, And it works best if you've got one that's got a groove here and you use the scoring tool like this. So you really don't have to have any kind of fancy scoring tool. And I thought that was such a smart idea. And I do not remember who said that, but look at that. It gives me that nice score. Isn't that cool? That's perfect. And then I can go into 4 1/4. I line up that next fold and I can come in, which means I don't really ever have to pull out a fancy scoring board anymore. I just need a bone folder to make that crease. And I can measure it out exactly where I want it. And I have all the way up to my 12 inches because actually I can go all the way up to 15 inches with this paper trimmer. So I thought that was like a really smart hack for those people that don't want to get a paper trimmer. Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing this morning? And hello from the UK. Okay. I'm not sure. Oh, here we go. Okay, so that, somebody left a comment on a previous video about the fact that I was using a really old scoring tool, and I did not line this guy up very well on the edge of my card. Oops. Okay, so now that I have this, I'm going to go ahead and fold backwards on all my sections here. So coming in, there we go. Just to make sure I have all my amazing folds the way I want them to. There we go. And that way, as I'm putting the card together, I'm not having to worry about, did I fold it the right way, did I not? And it's all folding very nicely. So you get this little action on 2 pieces. All right, so from here, and I'm going to use this as my guide. This was the original card I'm using as a guide. The first page, the first fold, starts off with the open sides. The fold is on the right side. The open side is on the left. So that's what I'm going to mimic. Open side on the left, fold over. All right. Then we're going to end up putting these 2 pieces together and fold over. And how do you know how to line them up? Well, I line them up by basically putting them on my card. So that's how I know. And then I'm going to kind of, it goes open and then open, and that's how you get your card. This is the beginning of it right here. All right. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with a little bit of adhesive right here on this line. There we go. And I'm going to line this up right against the edge here because that's how I know like the length, and then just fold this over and then that glues just like that. So now I have my pull-out card, and there it is, just like that. Ta-da! Now you could totally leave your card just like that, but I thought it was kind of cool if I showed you guys how to make the diagonals. So that's where we're going from there. Good morning, everybody. I've got the Netherlands, the UK. We're all international today. Have fun. Okay, so and where I got the diagonals, I love the look of this. Now this card, they did something special. So here, and it wasn't a diagonal. Here they've done kind of like a scoop, I guess is a better way of describing it. And on the inside, they did one that was lower, so that way you didn't see it. So all you're seeing is the 2, even though every single one does have it. That I thought that was kind of smart, but I was like, but there's got to be a way to see even more diagonals, and that's what we are doing today. We're going to make even more diagonals. So I'm going to clear this off, and I need a pencil, and I had a pencil sticking out here, and it's, of course, I used a pen on my initial card, and I kept seeing my little pen marks. So my kids keep hijacking my pencils. Here we go. Here's one. I'm gonna make sure that this is good. Here we go. Sometimes the lead gets broken inside of those. Okay, so we are going to measure, and this is how I do it. I use my cutting board for pretty much everything here. So they are gorgeous papers. All of these papers here, these decoupage papers and the original card where I got this concept are all from a company called Decoupage. And you can get them in the United Kingdom. That's where they're from. So if you have a Decoupage, you can take that out. For those people in the States, European Papercrafters is a supplier here in the States that brings them over and don't pay the exorbitant shipping. But that's what this is for. So these are the Lucy Cromwell series, Decoupage Paper Mania sets that we're playing with today. I thought they're A4 sized sheets. And one of them came with that little accordion card. So very, very fun. Good morning. Oh, here, see, now we have a US person here. I love that everybody is from all over the place. I think that's so much fun. Okay, so I have my little cheat sheet here. And I will be putting these dimensions on after the fact, so you guys can see all my little chicken scratch happening right now. Okay, so what we have going on is original. We had a 5.5 by 11. We cut 2. We're scoring at the 4.5. So 4.5, 4.5, and then you have that little extra. You glue those together and you end up getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sheets. Now we're going to do our angles. Now the first angle And I'm just going to bring my little card over here so you guys can see my card. My first angle goes up like this. So I'm going to cut, and this is what I wrote here, from 2.5 to 3.5. So I line my little paper up here, get my pencil, oh, here it is hiding underneath. And I know that 2 here, so I'm just eyeballing about a 2.5 right there to a 3.5. And it's the first one that we're going to cut going across. It goes from low to high. Excuse me, I just had a little burp. From low to high. So I come in, now that I have my 2 markings, and I can kind of fold up my little card here, and I line it up on my paper trimmer. I put 1 mark on my mark here, the other mark up there, and I just cut up. I need to get a new blade on my paper trimmer. Cut up to that point, and then I'm just going to use a pair of scissors to cut down to that space right there. Oh, I didn't even cut all the way up. So if you get to the point where you have a little bit of some extra, just finish it out, because you don't want to cut too far, especially considering that I folded up my card. And this is how I know I need a new blade. I actually need to order one because all my cuts are coming out really frayed, and I don't like that. So I just need to get a new blade. I might have one stashed around somewhere. I just don't remember where it is. So it's making my cuts even harder. So anyway, time to order some. That's going to bug the bejesus out of me. Anyway, you get the idea. Don't get too sidetracked, Karen. Oh, and you can also keep these cards too, because we were measuring off how to do like I was doing strips. So this is what the first cover is going to look like. So you can always cut and then keep this little strip here, and that's how you can add some strips. So it's kind of cool in that respect. Okay. So now that we've got that, now we got to make the next cut. Now the next one goes from 3.5, which is what this is, and it goes up to 4. So we're only going up by a 1/2 inch now. So since this is already being done, I'm going to fold this over so I can see clearly where my 4 is. So 1, 2, 3, and then look, it's 4, and I can see that. So this is where my 4 is. And I didn't cut that perfectly straight, but it's okay. And since this is a lower cut, I should be fine, but I will fold it in the front just to make sure. And so now I go from where I was before, that cut here, to this cut there. There we go. And then finish up the scissors. It's going to make like one long angle here when you do it just perfectly. This time I'm going to try and cut right on my line. If you wanted to use your paper trimmer to cut that down too, you could. There we go. Everybody's very quiet this morning again. Okay, so now we've gone to 4. My next cut again goes from, so this is 1, 2, now we're going to 3rd, from 4 to 4.5. So we're going up by a 1/2 inch each time. Very simple. So just kind of going up by that 1/2 inch. Fold it. Pull this out. And now I want to cut from, yeah, this is why I have to keep folding all these. It's getting a little long. Like I said, if you have a different way of cutting all these angles, you're more than welcome to do so. This is how I'm doing it with just a simple little paper trimmer. There is a double layer of paper here, so just be careful because you have to go a little bit harder as you're cutting through. But I love just being able to make something where I don't have to get out any super fancy tools. I don't have to buy anything super fancy. You know, it's just using what I already have. Scissors and a paper cutter. There we go. And then the last one, so here we finished at 4, is going to 4.5. And then that's the end of it. So again, I come up, so here is 4.5, I think. No, so it went from 4.5, that's 4.5, and it ends at 5, sorry. And as you can tell, it's making like this long diagonal. Technically, if you cut everything just perfectly, it would make one giant swoosh. And that's kind of where that goes. So fold all this business in half. Hang on. I almost cut too far. And make sure I'm not cutting too far. And I'm trying not to go too close. I know I can see where the edge is, but I'm just being cautious because I don't want to cut too far through. So there. And now you have your card that has the giant zigzag. My husband called it the switchback. Like if you're going up and down like a mountain trail, it's a switchback, and that's kind of cool. And oh, my paper trimmer. I need to fix that. So we're gonna just quickly. I don't know if I'm making this worse or better. Probably worse because I'm edging the whole thing now. I don't know how to fix that at this point. So we're just going to emphasize it and make them all a little bit grungy. If you can't beat them, join them. So that's what we're doing with this card. We're going to make the whole thing a little bit shabby chic-ish on the edge here. There we go. Yeah, it's a little bit of some rough texture there. It works. Okay, so now how do you do the mat? So I went down 1/4 of an inch, and I'm going to show you how I did it in the purple. Actually, I've already done all the purple, so I'm going to show you how I'm going to do it in this other sheet of paper. For this, I grabbed 2 sheets of 12 by 12, and they're all going to be. No, they're not all going to, yes, they're all going to be 4 inches. So the reason why I'm saying that is because the card itself is 4 1/4 across, and I want my mat from side to side to be 4 inches. I had to think about that for a second. So everything's going to be 4 inches. So you can go ahead and cut 1 4-inch section. And then I'm going to go with my I'm going to go from backwards on out. So the last card flap. Oh, thank you guys. I hope you guys like this. Yeah, see, all of these things, all these kind of like fun fold-out cards, they're cards, but they would make great little scrapbook albums too. I mean, they'd be perfect because they're nice and compact. You could put them in an envelope, and it just has, and for the card that we're going to make together, I only did the ones where you opened it up, you can see it this way, but does that mean you can't put anything on the reverse sides? We are doing that for the matting. So there is a mat that's for everything. So the first thing that we have to do is going to be to 5. To 5? No, it's going to be more than that. No, it's 5 1/4. I have to amend that. No, oh, so the 5th mat, sorry, 4. 5th is 4 by 5 1/4. I don't have that down, which is a whole sheet. There's no angles. These I'm going to have written down are going to be all the cut angles. So that is your first one. This is a paper that came from a really old die cut split of view. So it's a typical mat, just like we're doing here. So here is that. And that's going to go there. Now I need one for this side. So as you're opening it up, you want to have one for every single one of the ones as you have your card open, right? So you have to have a mat for every single one of those. So that's what this 4th angle is. So the 4th angle is going to go to 5 inches. So here's my 5. So it's going to go from 5 inches, but I got to cut it down. Oh, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one. It's going to go to 4 3/4. 4 3/4, because it has to go a little bit smaller. So then I kind of bring it in and go, okay, here am I going? And I'm looking at this side, and that side is lined up correctly. Now I got to make that angle, and I got to make that angle match the same thing. So I come in. I go, okay, well, that's 4 3/4, and it's got to go down because I went 1/2 inch. So this has got to go down to 4 1/4. And like I said, I will give you guys all these measurements, and I just eyeball it. I'm like, yep, that's about 4 1/4. And then I come in. And so there is a lot of cutting to this, but it looks really cool when it's done. I'm just going to do a couple of these with you guys, and then I'll finish this card later. You guys always know I put them up on my Facebook channel, and I show you guys how I open it up and show you what it looks, but see, look, there it is. And that's that first mat, right? So then you go to the next mat. So you flip it over, and now I've got to do the next mat, which would be this one. But if you notice, there's this little piece here that you cannot see. So you got to cut for that as well. The coolness is that this piece right here is exactly the same size as the reverse. And it doesn't matter, well, if you've got a 2-sided paper, you do have to be careful about how you're cutting it. Or do you want to see a little bit of something different? These colors do not match well, so I have to be careful which angle I'm cutting on. If you've got a single-sided paper, it doesn't matter. You can cut them and interchange them. So I will finish this card later and post it for you guys on my Facebook, and also I'll put it on my Instagram so you guys can see that card done. This one I already have complete. It's just a matter of putting all the layers together. So it's the same concept. Here we go. And if you're worried about like what side of what paper goes where, then go ahead and just use a solid colors cardstock that has the same color on both sides. And I picked this one. I thought this was really pretty. I've been digging into my card stash or my paper stash. And so I've been trying to use up a lot of my papers, and these foldable cards is a great way to use up your papers. Let me tell you. Yeah, so that's why somebody said distress them all, be fine. I'm going to do that. And I need to do that on this one too. So maybe I'll just distress all of it because it'll add in their element. So let's do that. We're going to have just a little bit of distressing party. And this paper is kind of fun because it's one of those ones that shows you can sand it. And I hadn't thought of sanding the paper, but I think I might, just to add that little bit of extra something going on here. But it's not, I need to get my sandpaper real fast. I wasn't prepared for that, but it's not too far. So there we go. So I can come in and I can do a little bit of sanding here. I did this on the very first card. I just happen to have a whole bunch of this coordinations paper, and I didn't do a ton. It's just a little bit of some lightness happening. And I'm going to go ahead and do it on this one too. Just rough it all up. There. I'm not going to, well, no, I'm not going to do the edge because I don't want to take away from that. And this is where I used a pen by accident. So you can see my pen mark. Shh, don't tell anybody I did that. All right. So the first thing is I'm going to go ahead and put this down. And it just glues in place. There we go. Stick it down. Make sure it's nice and centered. So there we go. Now, as I was saying, you totally can put a thing on the back here. This first flap actually does not 100% need it. It's not necessary. Can you, for grins and giggles? Sure. And that means that you could have a card that is overlapping. Where it's important is on this one right here. So you don't need that one if you don't want to. It's important for this one because you are seeing this section. Even when my card is open though, we're not seeing that side. Why it's important is because you're seeing. Now, if you want to have switchbacks where, excuse me, apparently have some burping issues, where you're missing colors, you can do that. I don't like that. I like having the color there. So I like being able to see the color pop through. So you get that hint of, oops, there we go, that color everywhere through there. I just think it looks a little bit nicer. So I'm going to go ahead and distress all these. I would have done that ahead of time, guys. I'm sorry. I just didn't think about that until just now. So we're going to stress all the edges of this. I will go back and sand them later. I'm not going to do that and bore you guys with how to sand paper. But I can always come back and sand. I will have to do the sanding of the papers that we're adding elements to. So again, this is a part that's going to be hidden behind. So now I'm going to add this layer on here and at the edge. And I will have to do a little bit of light sanding on this one because we're going to be adding stuff to it. There we go. And I will come back and I'll just distress all the edges because you're not going to be seeing the edges here in a minute, but I'll distress all those edges possibly at the end. And then a little bit, meaning after the video. Only so much you guys want to see me of sanding and distressing. There we go. So here is this, that goes there. And so this is the part of the card you're actually going to be seeing. Now I've went ahead and pulled out and I've cut out the pieces that I want to have. I've kept a very simple design. I didn't want to go too crazy on the design because there's already a lot happening with the card itself. So then we have this piece. Let me go ahead. Distress. There are, okay, I just had a piece fly on the floor. My little pop dots. They went flying. There we go. And then I need to sand a little bit of this as well. So you could go super fancy. I went with a very simple design, number one, because it's hard to come up with what are you going to place here, and then you have all this extra space. And I didn't want to have it so when my card was folded up that you see little things popping through. I want it to look kind of clean. That was just the vibe I was going for on this card. This is the one I'm looking at. But I mean, there's so many ideas that you could do with this. Somebody said scrapbook page, like a little mini album. Perfect concept for that. Okay, now we gotta do this side. You can see I already had everything cut for this. And some of them are super easy to cut because they just pop out of the decoupage pages, which is nice. So I just found a simple colored cardstock that would fit well and look nice. And this one I have to do a little sanding as well. And I'm not doing a heavy sanding, and I can always come back and kind of resand and, you know, get a little bit more on the areas that are being seen after it's all said and done. There we go. And then I have the pieces that are going to go there. Put that there. And the last piece is going to go up. Hope you guys are having an amazing day. Yeah, lots of fun layers here. It's like every little flip of a flap has got another layer. I get to go on my daughter's field trip today. I almost thought I was going to have to do this video recorded, and then I realized I don't have to meet them until 10:30. So I had a good hour if I popped in at 9 o'clock and I was not late, that I would have time to come in and chat with you guys. Okay, so here is that. That's going to go there. This piece goes here. This one's going to go here. So I'm just pulling out little fun elements. And then this one went on, it's going to go on the front. Now I need to make sure that I have all my back, I'm going to pull this off, all my back flaps. Now I'm going to go ahead, I already have it cut, and I'm going to put this little piece right here. And since I'm distressing everything, so it's her little first grade field trip. She's so excited. She gets to go on a bus because she's usually like a car. I drop her off in the morning and we ride our bikes to school. And I messed up on this one, if you notice. I don't know if you guys can tell from here. It's a little bit weird, but you can see that this side has got the texture, and this is the back side of the paper from the computer, you guys, or from the TV, you guys can't tell. All right, so now we got to glue down this one. Oh, and this is the one I didn't. So this is another one you have an option. Do you want to place, sorry, a little thingy there. Do you want to place something, because it's part of the card you're never going to see. As you open it up, you're never going to see that. So is it necessary? That's a personal call, but this piece you're going to see because of the flap. So you do need to kind of show that. So I'm going to go ahead and just stress this out. All right. I've like become addicted to these little folding and interactive cards. I just think they're so much fun. Okay, so now I have that. This is where a little bit of some thought process is going to go in. Now, I told you guys we're going to be doing these little pieces that are going across, right? So I'm going to pull this part off for now. And when I first did it, I had each of them independently. Oops. On here, and I thought, well, you know what, it would look really cool as if you have the card open, all of these line up. I know they're all a little bit of a different length, and I wasn't sure if I was going to like it or not, but I hadn't laid it all out yet. So I was debating, do I want to have them all line up here? But I had to make sure that it fit with the very first flap. I don't know if you guys, there we go. So as it lines up, and I'm thinking, I think I'm going to like it better if they're all the same size. So it looks very continuous. So it's like this streak going through there. So I have to match it with the very first one because I can't really make this any bigger. And I have to kind of bump this, which is going to be the teacup. So I got plenty of room over here, and I think that looks good. And then I will just line them all up. Or either that, I go big, small. Maybe I could do that. I could go small, big, small, big, small. Let's do that. Small, big, small, big, small. I was kind of debating where I wanted to go. So this one was 1.5 inches. The first one was 1.25 inches. So this one I have is 1.25 inches. So it will line up. Just gives it something continuous throughout the entire card. So this one needs to be 1.5 inches. And I had it as 1 3/4 inches. So there we go. And the last one needs to be 1.25 inches, which I had as 1 inch. Oh, I should have just, funny. This one was the 1.5 inches. I should have just flip-flopped them. Go figure. There we go. Okay, so now we got that all figured out. So this one will be the 1.5 inches. So therefore, it's something that's kind of continuous throughout the entire card, but then also something that's a little different. So I have this banner, right? So I'm going to head and glue that down. Keep the other ones in line, and then just place that. And they're a little bit frayed, which means it just kind of goes with the distressing I have. If you want to distress each one of these as well, you totally could. Line them up. There we go. So her field trip that we're going to be going to is to an outdoor wildflower park, and it's been threatening rain for a little while. Now, this last one I'm going to hold off because I want to add a stamp first. So I'm pulling out a stamp, and I just wanted to do a thanks. Make it very, very simple. So I have a very, very simple thanks card, or thanks stamp that we're going to line up on the left side. So it should be a gorgeous day. The rain has completely just kind of dissipated. I'm just going to put that right there. So it should be perfect. There we go. Thanks. Cover this up so I don't mess up my stove. All right, flip this over and add the adhesive. All my other layers are on there, so it's going to move this guy down. So there's all kinds of beautiful flowers that are in this park. It's going to be gorgeous. And there that is. So now I just got to lay down all of these little things. So I'm going to pull out my little sticker maker and turn these all into stickers, because some of them are, I popped them out of a couple of different things. Some of these, this is what was cool. So these little elements come out, and I debated, do I want to have, maybe I don't have it because I'm going to have it on this next one. And so it's a little bit of a, it won't be so matchy-matchy. I can always come back and add it later. So for now, we're not going to do that. I'm not going to run the big pieces through, but like this is so spindly to try and get the sticker on it. And oops, I overlapped by accident. This one was cool, and I'll show you, as there was 3 layers. So if you notice the first one, it came as a layer. This one had another layer in the between, so you can actually mix and match. Let me show you. It was on this sheet. So it has all these layers. This was actually the middle layer. So I could take this and I can mix and match the pieces. And same with the ovals. There was the ovals. This is the middle oval. So you could use it as an element, or I can mix and match the pieces, because there was 3 ovals. The middle piece, there was an outside and a middle. And so, or inside, middle, and how do you, inside, middle, outside. There we go. That's the words I was looking for. I could not get that thought in my head. Again, I can run those ones through. So I'll just go ahead and run this through right here, this little oval. And I tried to match it. So as we went through the card, it got progressively bigger and bigger and bigger. All right. I did the small ones with my sticker maker here, because just put adhesive on a little tiny piece is just a pain in the tuchus. All right, so the first one is a little teacup. So that's going to go right there. And I just kept it very simple. I mean, they're so cute. I just love all these little decoupage pieces. They're so adorable. I just left it. I love them. Then I have this little present, and the rest of them I'm just centering. And could you come in with something? It has to be flat because the way the card lays. So you could come in with some, little, this sound very centered. Oh, I hope it don't rip. Okay, I'm good. You could come in with a flat sequin, or you could do something that's flat. You know, as long as it's flat, you could definitely add a little accent, but you don't want to do anything raised. So you wouldn't want to do a gem or a pearl or anything that's got some sort of like a raisedness to it. All right, so then we're going to come in with this third layer here, which goes like this. Center that on there. I'm actually going to raise it up a tiny bit because we got some more vertical. And then we have the element that goes around it, which was this one. And so just center that. And you could come in and add more stamps if you wanted to. But again, I'm keeping this very simple as it opens up. I just want you to kind of follow it. There were some other sentiments on here. It's like for lending a hand, for making a day brighter. So you could come in and add more elements of words. That would be kind of fun. I just didn't do that. Then we have a bigger element. Now, the other thing I was looking at as I was making this is that I didn't want to be able to see everything is being folded up. You don't see them. And I could get away with a tall element on this side, even though it's almost to the top, but it's on the back side, so you don't see it. So I was very cautious about how I'm laying this one down. So as I lay this big, I'll do the small oval. This one looks crooked. I think it's good. There we go. So you could put the oval. I got to be able to fit my oval in there, but I don't want to be able to see it. Ah! So it's to here. That's as high. So I got to go just a little below that. There. And so I'm just checking. Ta-da. See, look, it hides. If it doesn't bother you of what you see, that's not the vibe I was looking for. And then this can go just right inside. I mean, look how easy this card is to put together just by adding these elements that you already had. It could be stickers, but look at that. Isn't that pretty? So da-da, look at that. And then you still have the back side. I could cut another one for there if we wanted to, but I don't know if it's needed. Unless you wanted to have, I mean, you could definitely have a card where it opens this way and we could add elements. I mean, that could be pretty cool. So you have a card that you can open, and maybe we'll do that because just as a strip and then adding an element. But I also thought, because I thought this would be kind of fun. And so you have these openings here, and I thought it'd be really pretty if we came in and we just added a little accent of some small pearls, just a little something on each of those switchbacks. So I'm just coming in and adding these beautiful little pearls just right here, just like that. And this is an A2 size card, so it should easily fit in. I know it's thick, but it should still fit into an envelope. But you know, it's meant to be a card that you kind of put on display. So see, look at that. It's just a little bit of something on each one. Do I need it here? I can always pull them off. And I did use all the smallest pearls. I didn't even realize I was gravitating towards, uh-oh, am I going to be out of pearls? I may have to switch around. Oh, there's one on the back. How did that get on the back? A little goofy. There it is. So now each of these, you know what? Maybe I'm going to do that. I like the bigger pearl in the middle. Did I get the adhesive? No, I missed the adhesive on that one. That has no adhesive. These are old. I don't even know where I got these, but I am truly trying to go into my stash of stuff and go, what have I not used in a long time? And I have all these pearls and gems. I was a sucker for the longest time. If I saw them, it was the dollar bins at Michael's. How many of you guys? Oh, this one's lost its sticky too. No, it's there. I just messed with it too much. Like I said, these are old. I might have to come in and add some glue to them. And if any of those fall off, I've got the ones on my fingers. But if I saw them in the dollar bins, oops, that one's bad too. I would grab them and I was like, oh, they're $1. It's so cheap. And then I ended up, you know, $10 later or $20 later because I was addicted to those little guys. Oh, thank you so much, Joan. That was so nice. Thank you so much for saying that you love my ideas. I just play around. I have fun. It's like geometry coming into effect. Okay, and then I need one right here. So now I can use my little guys just to finish it out. And then a big one. And I know it's not a diagonal, but it finishes the card off. Oops, there's one stuck to my finger. Pearls everywhere. There we go. So now it just kind of finishes it off a little bit. All right, here we go. Move those off to the side again. There we go. And so here we go. So I think let's go ahead and add that. So this is where that extra sheet of paper, but when we cut our card, that's where this is going to come into play. And so what I did is I went ahead and cut just a 4-inch strip. So I knew it was 4 inches because I liked it going all the way to the edge. So like that. And then let's do the same. So since this was 1 1/4, let's make that 1 1/4. 1 1/4. There we go. Let's make that 1 1/4. So for this one needs to be 1 1/2. So it's opposite. And then everything's got something. There's a little something on every single page. So if you opened the card up this way, we'll do it that way. So it'll go this way. So you actually have, you know, lots of layers here. We're gonna play with that concept. So now I need another section. That's 4 inches. I do need to cut one more purple, and I do have some more purple paper. So we can do that. So we had 1 1/4, 1 1/2. Now we need another 1 1/4. And it's really easy to add more layers to this card because we have such simple elements on each page. It doesn't make, why does that feel short? Oh, no, it's good. Okay, I got to put my mat on there. I'm like, it feels small. All right, so this is going to be the back side to, I got to get my ruler out. I need to measure the tallest one so I know what flap I'm on. Okay, this was 4 1/2. So this is my 4 1/2 by 4. I want to make sure I'm, yeah, so 4.5 by 4. So I am on flap, the third flap. So I need to cut a sheet of paper that's 4.25. And if you're not used to standard system or the inches and stuff, you can always convert it to be in centimeters. Everything that seems to be in terms of, I mean, I grew up with the metric system. I don't know why I keep gravitating back to the other one, but there we go, 3 3/4. Wait, I didn't cut that right. Oh, shoot. I need to cut it to be 4 inches to begin with. Sorry. Got to cut it to be 4 inches to begin with. That was the part I was missing. Now I'm going to cut this to be 4 1/4. Talking. So if you want to do this all in centimeters, I'm not going to do the conversion for you. I'm sorry. That is one thing I'm not going to do. Okay. And so I know my taller end is on this side, which means I'm going to go shorter on this side. So it's 4 1/4. Yeah, 4 1/4 to 3 3/4. So it goes right there. And then cut. So I got to cut the other angle. So if you, like for instance, if you had a one-sided paper, as you're cutting all of your sheets, therefore I know this fits right here, and you want to make sure that the right side is up, just look at your paper and go, it's taller on this side, shorter on that side, so I got to measure down, and that's how you would line that up. All right, so since I distressed everything else out, got to do the same thing here. There we go. And I'm not going to worry about sanding the back side, mostly because I think that's going to be a little boring right now. Okay, and all these other ones, we just got to lay them out. So let me get this out of the way. You're horrible about measuring. I'm just reading. Oh, easy. I'm an easy peasy girly jean. Oh, I'm wearing jeans and a t-shirt right now. Usually it's yoga pants, but I have to go on the field trip, and I didn't think yoga pants would look too hot on the field trip. All right, so the first one, I was just reading all the comments. I'm sorry if I stepped away and said it silent for a minute there. I'm lining all these up about where I want to put them. Here we go. Now I got to be careful about when I fold this up that I'm not putting anything that's too tall in that space. So it's just being a little bit careful about what we place into there. So as long as I keep kind of low for those elements, we could also just do a stamp on every single one of these, or maybe a stamp. I don't know. I think I'm going to do a little element because I have all these gorgeous elements. There we go. There. So now our card. There. You have to fold it the right way. So we can open it this way and see something cool. Or you can also open it this way and see something cool, which I think is fun. And it's still, I mean, it's not super, super duper thick either. And it still would fit into an envelope. I have had cards that are thicker. That's not too shabby. All right, so what are we going to place into this little guy? I haven't really done one, so I'm going to open this up and take a look at the whole span. I think you get better with measuring as you do it. So don't feel so like you can't do something. So I have, look at this cool sheet. I like this one right here, this with love. So we're going to pull that out. Keep maybe just a simple oval on that one. Or maybe we could interchange. So look, I have that little oval left over, so we could mix and match them. That looks pretty. So we'll do that for one of them. Probably for this one. Will that fit? Yeah, that'll fit nicely. Or I could use this for my tall one here. And let's make sure, look at that, just fits. So you don't see it as the flap comes over. So that can go there. All right, so we have this purple one here, and this has got a sentiment. I love the ones that have a little something written on them, so I don't have to stamp it in there. There we go. So there's this. And to give it a little bit of a separation, so let's put this one here. Just a note to say thank you for being you. And on the front, I had said thank you. Maybe we'll put the pink outline on that. So now we're interchanging them. Look at that. That'll look cool, and that goes together. Let's do a simple little border here. Let's say just for you. I don't know. Have a perfect day. Which one do you guys think? Not sure. Yeah, these are decoupage sheets. They're just little pop out stuff. So it really makes card making simple when all you have to do is go pop, 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 and then it's done. Super easy breezy. Oh, I like this one. This one looks pretty. Let's do that one. They just pop right out and you just pop them on. I mean, it's just the little piece is done for you. And okay, you guys haven't really stated. Oh, have a perfect day. Thank you. All right, we'll do the have a perfect day. I like it when people help me make decisions. Oh, and I did not realize this has a little frame. Look at that. It has a little frame border as well. That's cool. So you could interchange them. So you know what? We're going to add. No, it's too much. We're just going to leave this simple, and then we'll leave this simple. And then these ones have the fancy die cut pieces that go around it. And then I can pop this one back inside here because I can use it with one of the other borders. So I'll mess around with that later. So now this one also has little dots I can pull out. There we go. And I only need to, I can get my tape runner in on that. I only need to do my sticker maker for this piece right here because I'm going to tear it if I try and use my tape runner on that piece. And then for the oval here. I put that in too quick. Oh, I hope I don't rip it. If you guys notice what I did, I put it in too much of an angle. I should have put it in straighter, but I got it. I was able to get it. I was able to finagle it. Woohoo! All right. There's that. Go up a little higher. Gives me some room. This is the other one I have to be careful about because the border, but I think I'm good. So I'm just doing, it's a super, super simple design, but it looks super fancy because how you're folding it out and there's so much going on. Like I said, you could come in, maybe like a little flat Nuvo drop or a little stickles because stickles dry flat. That would look really good there. All right, can't go too high. Did I put this on crooked? I think I put this on crooked. That's gonna bug me because everything is so linear on here that you have to kind of make it look perfect. All right, I want to make sure my oval is not out of space and time. All right, so let's place our outside oval. Oh, and this is a snug fit oval, so I think we're good. Probably could have gone a little higher, but I didn't want to have it overlap, so I think we're good. And then we have this little piece right here. I love these. It's making my life. Look how fast. I mean, it's a complicated card in terms of the folding, and there's lots of cutting. And I know I didn't do all the cutting with you online, with you here, but I mean, they do come together really fast. And there it is. That's our completed card. So thanks. And then you can open it up this way, and then you open it up. I did not put any other sentiments. Oh, it is. And then inside, thank you. So there is a little sentiment on the inside. And then you can open it this way. And then you can open it this way, and it says, have a perfect day, just a note saying thank you, and then with love. Look, that's cool. I love that. It's very kind of simple and elegant and just fun. Really cool. And that all came from the inspiration from this card here with the zigzags. I mean, I tried to get an oval die. I tried to get like an oval die and put it on here and see if I could get it to that corner. I was like, that is just a mess. And then trying to line it up, and it was just a nightmare and a half. So I didn't do that. But these cards are cool in themselves. So there's a piece, and I already popped out a few of them. I thought these were so fun. And there's two of these cards. Ah, it's getting caught. Okay, and this is where you take the elements, and it's the popping up the 3D cards. And so I thought, you know, I have them. And I actually did originally, like I did pull that teacup. That's what this one came from. But because there's so many layers here, I didn't want to go crazy with how many I stuck on. So I don't want to go nuts with this one, but I do want to pop up like the occasional one because I just thought they look cool. So, and you could do some 3D elements, I guess, in that, but I think it might get a little squishy. Now, what they've done to accommodate the 3D, so if you look, there's like an extra score in the fold of each of these cards. So therefore, it gives you the ability to have a little bit more oomph. And you could do it with that card. It was not the goal I was going for on that one, but you can see where I got the inspiration. I mean, the folds are exactly the same, except the dimensions. And then this one was curved, and I made mine straight lines and went with that. So I'm just going to show you a little bit of some popping up here. Got about 10 more minutes because I got to go join my daughter for her field trip. But I want to give you an idea. And I will finish the rest of the cards, like I said, and I will definitely put it up on my Facebook page. And you guys can see it'll be this decoupage card all folded up. You got to give me a little time because I'm not staying here and finishing this card right away. So see how this pops up like that? There we go. It just gives a little bit of element. You could put little things right there, but I don't think I'm going to. And then I think I also popped out, I had it. It was the cupcakes. I had the cupcakes around here. So there they are. So here we have, it's the cupcakes. And I didn't do the very, very top one. I decided against popping up the very, very top. But you get the idea. I mean, these cards, this is what I would call your no muss, no fuss kind of card. Kind of with that one too, except you have to do all the cutting. This one, it's all there. It's all printed out. I think the papers look so pretty. This is a Lucy Cromwell design. It's a Do Crafts product. And they're called Decoupage. They're the 3D card making. And they just go so fast and easy because you just layer the similar elements. And it's one of those ones that you could put on a TV show or you could put on some music and you just sit back. And it's just, it's fun and easy. You could do it on an airplane because it's really not hard. You could do it on a car for a card trip. And they do make some fun cards. There's this little pop-up there. And then you could do the teacups. Oh, and so also, oh, here was the big piece. Oops. So here was the big, maybe I'll pop this off. Hang on. Aha, that popped off nicely. So look, you pop this right here and it creates that 3D element. So let's just do this one. So see how it pops up. So we'll pop this one up as well. So like I said, it's just so fun and easy. And I'm not going to bore you guys with just seeing me putting pop dots on pop dots and pop dots, foam dots, whatever you want to call them, over and over and over. But you get the concept. You pop out the pieces you want. There's even little ones for the cupcakes here. So, I mean, you can see there's one. There's all these ones. And then there's some extras in here as well. So here's like the butterfly. There's a swirl. So you could save those. But like here, it even says B1, B2, B3. So A1, A2, A3. So it tells you what order to put them. Here's the next part of the cupcake tier. So you could do all 3 tiers. Oops, I already put all those on. I was just taking off the little doodads. So it's very user-friendly. It's great for kids if they're starting to get into and they want to do some card making. They're just fun kits. I think it would be a great little present for somebody who wants to do cards, but it might be a little daunting. This is just putting little layers, and look how fun that is. It adds that little bit, and it still folds down. And this kit also came with an envelope that fits this. So there it is. And then I will finish this up. So I'll finish this card up completely. I'm only going to do the popping dots on this one, and this one. And then for the companion card, because the kit came with 2 cards, I'll do the other ones. I'll pop up this and I'll pop up this. That way I get, and then I'll probably add like a sentiment to the front here. And maybe like for this one, because I'm not doing the big cupcake, I can pop up, I think there's a little cupcake. Maybe I pulled it out. I think there's this cupcake I can pop up as well. If not, maybe I'll just layer up a different one that looks, so like for instance, there was this little cupcake. Maybe, I don't know, you can see that flower though. I'll figure it out. You get the idea. So this was concept. I will also finish up my other flip flap, which is doing this one. And so you guys can see where I was going with that. There we go. That piece goes there. So I'll finish up this as well. It'll probably take me until tomorrow or the next day to get the video up on Facebook so you guys can see the finished product. But this one is done. Just to kind of recap. So here we go. Very, very cool. Very fun card. And it can hang out. See? So it's a card that can kind of sit on a mantle. And I mean, you could have it sit this way. You could have it sit, so that's part of it's out this way, because we did the backside now too. So I thought that was kind of fun. And just those little pearls I thought were kind of fun. You could also do an outline. Maybe that's what I'll do that's a little different, is I'll take a pen and I can do like an outline. But you don't want to go overboard because, and this is my thought, because there's so much happening with the fact that you're flipping it open. If you add too much to the card, it's going to make it look kind of like, crazy. Less is more. Simplicity is sometimes best because the busyness is happening with how the card opens. So there we go. I'm going to call this my diagonal foldable 4-fold card because there's 4 folds. Right? Is there 4 folds? 1, 2, 3, 4 folds. I don't know. I'm coining that. Came up with a new card. I don't know if I'm the first one to come up with it, but I mean, obviously not, because the inspiration came from this, but with the diagonals, we'll go with it, whatever works. So thanks so much for stopping by. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell button for further notifications. Remember, I always come back every Wednesday. It might be a little hit and miss over the summer. I might have to do some recorded stuff because we're going to be away, and I have some family and friends coming and staying with us, and it's kind of weird for me to do a live video when we have people in the house. But I will do my best to get as many live videos as we are getting close, because the kids get out of school in like 2 weeks. Which also means Morgan, my son Morgan, who has helped me moderate some of the Saturdays, he has been dying to come and help moderate again. So he will be jumping on some of these Wednesdays while we do our live card making and be my moderator again. He's so super excited about doing that. So I'm off to go to my daughter's field trip and go be with a whole bunch of crazy first graders screaming and yelling. Yippee! Should be exciting times, let me tell you. No, it'll be great. It'll be so much fun. She's so excited about her field trip. I remember when I was a kid, that was a big deal. And it still is. I mean, it's so much fun. It's a chance for her to go out and see, and it's a great wildflower park. And the flowers around here are crazy business at this time of year. So, and it's going to be an amazing day with no rain. Yes. We went 40% chance down to nothing. Not that we don't need rain, we do, but we always need rain. But at least not on days when I want to have my field trip. All right, so thank you again. I know I keep saying thank you. I do appreciate. Links to the supplies are down below. All of the decoupage pieces and this kit and all that kind of stuff are from a company. If you're here in the States, it's from European Papercrafts, and there is a coupon code down below. Code is Erin, E-R-I-N, for your any order that you want to put through. And then I will link all the other supplies, my adhesive, my tape runner, the stamp. This was a Simon Says stamp. And then the pearls. I mean, I'm sure you guys have some of those. And then this is that coordinations paper. I just think it's so pretty because you can sand it and it just looks really kind of soft and gentle. And I will see you guys again soon. There is another fun, I'm going to give you guys a sneak peek. This has got done. This is going live on Saturday. It's a fun little book that is going to be going, and I'll show you guys how I made this. Look at that cool mixed media book. Pretty awesome stuff. So the video for this goes live on Saturday. Just a little sneaker peeker since you happen to be here at the end of the video. All right. Bye-bye, everybody, and I'll see you guys again later.